Go.
Hi, I'm Caitlin McCurdy, and I play Gloucester in King Lear, Acts 2, Scenes 1 and 2.
Nice. Go.
Hi, I'm Allie Thomas, and I play Edgar in Act 2, Scene 1 and 3 of King Lear. Hi, I'm Allie Thomas, and I play Ken in Scene 2 of Act 2, Scene 2 of King Lear.
Hi, I'm Lauren Sigward, and I play Cornwall in Act 2, Scene 2 of King Lear.
Hi, I'm Brandon Penicky, and I played Edmund in Act 2, Scene 1 of King Lear. Hi, I'm Brandon Penicky, and I played Reagan in Act 2, Scene 2 of King Lear.
Hi, I'm Emily Ryan, and I play a knight in Act 2, Scene 1 of King Lear. Hi, I'm Emily Ryan, and I play Oswald in Scene 2, Act 2 of King Lear.
Scene 1. Caron tells Edmund that he has informed Gloucester that the Duke of Cornwall and his wife Regan are coming to the castle tonight, and that there are rumors of a feud between the Duke of Cornwall and Albany. Edmund thinks that he can use Cornwall's visit to progress his plan. Edmund tells Edgar that Cornwall is angry with him for being on Albany's side. Edgar doesn't know what he is talking about, because he is playing tricks on him. Edmund also tells Edgar that Gloucester has discovered his hiding place, and he should leave his shelter to find a different place to hide overnight. When Edmund hears Gloucester coming, he draws his sword and pretends to fight Edgar while he runs away.
Then Edmund cuts his own arm with his sword in order to trick Gloucester into believing that Edgar tried to kill him to take part in a plot against Gloucester. Gloucester becomes unhappy and sends men out to search for Edgar. Cornwall and Regan arrive at Gloucester's house. Edmund tells them that Edgar is one of the disorderly knights that works for Lear, and they believe him. Regan speculates further that the knights put Edgar up to killing Gloucester in order to acquire Gloucester's wealth. Regan asks for Gloucester's advice for answering letters for Lear and Goneril.
Yes, I can use Cornwall's visit to get rid of Edgar. Cornwall's mad at you for being on Albany's side of the disagreement.
What disagreement? I don't know what you're talking about.
Gloucester found out where you've been hiding. You better leave tonight if you know what's good for you. Oh, I can hear him coming now. Look what Edgar did to me.
That's mean.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Wait, go get him, knights.
During Act 2, Scene 1, the theme of old age and ingratitude of the young is carried over from Act 1. Edmund does not act respectful towards his father or even his older brother. Edmund continues to lie to his father Gloucester and also continues to lie to his brother Edgar. He made the two of them believe that the other wanted to kill them in Act 1, and that continues over into Scene 2 and the rest of the book. Edmund does not appreciate the relationship he has with his father or brother.
The theme of natural order in terms of family relations is also touched on in this scene. Edmund is trying to disrupt the royal order in which Edgar, the legitimate son of Gloucester, would inherit the throne. Edgar is trying to break that order and get the throne and power for himself.
Okay. The thematic development of Edmund not being appreciative of his elder leaders over to his motives. Edmund is trying to get power from his father Gloucester and brother Edgar. Edgar is the legitimate son of Gloucester and is deserving of the throne, but Edmund is on a mission to make Gloucester think otherwise. Edmund's actions characterize him as the villain. He goes against his brother and father and makes both of them fear the other. He is a liar and he is evil. With Edmund's evil schemes towards his father and brother, Gloucester and Edmund develop dumb and innocent personalities. Each of them falls captive to Edmund's evil plans. They are gullible and go with whatever Edmund tells them to be true.
Go.
Gloucester's motive is to kill Edgar because he has been hiding, and Gloucester believes Edgar wants to kill him. Gloucester is scared that Edgar is on the run and wants him to be found so the situation can be solved.
Figurative language is used in Act 2, Scene 1, in lines 35 and 36. Edmund cries out, "Father, father, stop, stop, no help." This occurs right after Edgar flees and Edmund cuts himself to fool Gloucester and make him think Edgar caught Edmund. The repetition of father creates a feeling of urgency. The audience can tell that Edmund needs help immediately. That the repetition of stop makes Edmund seem like he is being hurt by someone else, when in reality he is hurting himself to trick his father.
Scene 2. While still dressed as a peasant, Kent meets Oswald, the chief steward of Goneril's household. Oswald doesn't recognize Kent from their fight in Act 1. Kent begins to bully Oswald, calling him cowardly, vain, boastful, overdressed, and groveling. Oswald still doesn't recognize Kent, which prompts Kent to attack him with a sword. Oswald yells for help, and Cornwall, Regan, and Gloucester come running.
Then, when asked for an explanation, Kent rudely replies to Cornwall. Upset by his attitude, Cornwall sends him to be punished in the stocks. Gloucester says it's not a good idea to punish King Lear's messenger, as it will be seen as a sign of disrespect to Lear himself. But Cornwall and Regan put him in the stocks anyway, for assaulting Goneril's servant. After everyone leaves, Kent reads a letter from Cordelia that says she will help him from her current position in France to improve the conditions in Britain. Content with that promise, Kent falls asleep in the stocks.
Hey, Oswald, who are you, sir? Don't try to act like you don't know me.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not a fool. I think I would recognize you if I had met you before.
Don't anger me!
Leave!
Coward!
Help me! Help me!
What's going on here?
Why are you fighting? Don't move. Anyone who takes another step dies. Who are these people?
The messengers of Gonerill and the king.
I don't have to explain myself! Just let me leave! What's going on? This guy's just a stupid peasant!
What did he do to you?
I don't like his face! I always tell the truth!
Telling the truth doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, it does!
What did you do to him?
I did nothing! It's all just a misunderstanding!
Bring out the stocks. We'll teach you not to be arrogant.
I don't like this!
Come on.
I serve the king! Putting me in the stocks would be insulting him!
Keep him in there for a whole day.
This will insult the king if we punish his servant.
I'll take the fall if it comes to that. Get in there. Let's leave him here to think about what he's done.
I'll talk to Cornwall about this.
It's okay. I'll just sleep.
This is wrong. Kent is the bad guy. He gets mad at Oswald for not remembering him from when they met at Goneril's castle in Act 1. He gets very angry with Oswald. Oswald is the victim in this scene. He is being completely overtaken by the words and actions of Kent. Oswald is confused, for he does not recognize Kent. Regan, Cornwall, and Edmund in this chapter all go against King Lear. They are not on Kent's side of the argument because of this. Gloucester is loyal to the king and does not want his servant to be hurt. He sticks by Kent.
Kent's motive in this scene is to make Oswald confess to knowing him. He even tries to fight Oswald to make him do so. Cornwall and Regan want Kent locked away. They put him in the stocks in order to anger Lear so he will not want to stay with Regan. Gloucester's motive is to make sure Lear hears about what Regan and Cornwall have done to Kent. He tries to keep Kent out of being put in the stocks, but he is overruled. He wants Regan and the Duke of Cornwall to be punished for what they have done to Kent.
Scene 3. Running from the manhunt that has been sent for him by Gloucester, Edgar decides to transform himself into a common beggar. He says he'll wander around the country, seeking food, shelter, and pretending to be insane.
Go.
Well, now that I'm an outlaw in this city, I have to be careful where I hide. I know. I'll disguise myself as a beggar. I'll make myself dirty and put on some rags, and I'll pretend that I'm insane to trick everyone into thinking that I'm no longer Edgar. It's good.
Okay, go.
Ah! I'm no longer Edgar!
Scene 3 is short, but also very important. Edgar is living in fear that Gloucester wants to kill him. Because Edgar believes everything Edmund tells him, Edgar turns himself into a poor Tom. He has to disguise himself in order to escape the soldiers that Gloucester has sent looking for him.
Figurative language is used in the scene 3 when Edgar says, "The country gives me proof and precedent of bedlam beggars." This is personification. The country does not make Edgar look like a beggar. Edgar uses land and dirt to turn himself into poor Tom.
Scene 4. Lear, accompanied by the fool and a knight, finds Kent in the stocks and is mad that someone would treat his servant so poorly. Lear demands to speak to Regan and Cornwall after Kent tells him that they are the ones that put him there. However, Regan and Cornwall refuse to speak with Lear, saying they are sick and weary from traveling. Lear begins to have difficulty controlling his emotions, but he acknowledges that sickness can make people behave strangely. When Lear finally gets the chance to talk to Regan and Cornwall, he tells Regan about Goneril's disrespect and harshness towards him. Regan suggests that Goneril's actions may have been justified because Lear is growing old and unreasonable and should probably beg Goneril for forgiveness.
Angered, Lear curses his daughters and leaves his castle when a bad storm is forming. Gloucester begs Goneril and Regan to let him back inside, but they say that it's best to let him do what he wants. They order for the doors to be shut and locked, leaving their father outside in the threatening storm.
Lear asks Regan to shelter him, but she refuses. He begins to complain about Goneril and begins to curse her. Then, just as Lear is saying these things, Goneril arrives at Gloucester's castle. Regan knew from Goneril's letters that she was coming, and takes her sister's hand to ally herself with her sister against Lear. They both tell him that he is getting old and weak, and if he wants to stay with either of his daughters, he must give up half of his men. Not liking this proposal, Lear says that he and his 100 men will stay with Regan. However, Regan says that she will only allow 25 of his men to stay with him. Lear turns back to Goneril and says he's willing to come down to 50 men if he can stay with her, but Goneril is not willing to have that many men anymore. Things get worse for Lear when Regan and Goneril decide that they won't allow him to have any servants either.
Oh, reason, not the need. Our bassest beggars are in the poorest thing, superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is cheap as beast, thou art a lady. If only to go warm were gorgeous, why nature needs not what thou gorgeous wearest, which scarcely keeps thee warm. But for true need, you heavens, give me that patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man, as full of grief as age, wretched in both. If it be you that stir these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Touch me with noble anger, and let not woman's weapons, water drops, stain my man's cheeks. No, you unnatural hags, I will have such revenges on you both, that all the world shall, I will do such things. What they are, yet I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep? No, I'll not weep. I have full cause of weeping, but this heart shall break into 1,000 flaws.
This passage is very important to the plot of King Lear. Lear starts to go insane at the end of this chapter and continues to be insane for the rest of his life.
The theme of old age and ingratitude of the young is also developed in Act 2, Scene 4. From the passage from Lear, one can tell that he is very mad at his daughters, Regan and Goneril. Regan and Goneril are not thankful for anything their father has given them, most especially their power. Lear regrets giving over his power to Regan and Goneril because they are using it against their elderly father. By now, both Regan and Goneril have basically kicked Lear out of their castles, and Lear is hurt by this.
Figurative language is used in Scene 4 by King Lear. He uses parallelism to start many sentences. This helps create emphasis on what he is saying to his daughter. It helps show how mad he is. Lear says, "To wage against the enmity, O Lear, to be a comrade with the wolf and owl, ... To knee this throne and squire-like pension beg, to keep his life afoot, return with her."